Hi, I'm Holly Andrews. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I am going to walk you through what has become one of my go-to lunch options that is packed with protein and low carb with some healthy fat thrown in there for a really quick and easy but balanced meal, and that is cottage cheese bowls. And I'm going to show you 3 different ways to make them so that you can have that perfect lunch or mid-afternoon snack that's going to help you stay energized throughout your afternoon. Most people, especially women, do not get enough protein throughout the day. Women need at least 35 grams of protein per meal if you're eating 3 meals a day. All of these cottage cheese bowls have at least 40 plus grams of protein in them, plus really good veggies for those nutrients and fiber and some healthy fats for, good digestion and nutrient absorption. So everything that you need is right here in these cottage cheese bowls. I do realize that not everyone can have cottage cheese, especially if you're on a low sodium diet. So if that is you, a simple substitution for non-fat plain Greek yogurt would work really well here. First up, I'm going to show you is a Mexican cottage cheese bowl, then an Italian-inspired cottage cheese bowl, and finally a Greek-inspired cottage cheese bowl. They all start the same way with a base of 1.5 cups of 1% cottage cheese, and then we're going to vary the veggies and the other toppings throughout. So to make the cottage cheese bowl, the first thing we're going to do is dice up our veggies. So for this Mexican-inspired version, I've got tomato, cucumber, and orange bell pepper. And I specifically chose orange because I wanted something that wasn't green or red to help get some variety as well as the health benefits of the different colors and veggies. So let's go ahead and we're going to dice up our veggies. I have a very sharp tomato knife here. It's my favorite thing ever. Slices through the tomatoes perfectly, but I need 1/2 cup of diced tomato. You can also use cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes if you want to just cut those in half. I just think that this is a quicker option to get a nice diced tomato. This is how I prefer to do it, but if I don't have, I'll call it a slicing tomato, I will definitely use a cherry or grape. Tomatoes are a great option there. All right, I've got my handy dandy measurement cup, and for anybody that's on OPTAVIA, you'll know you need about 1/2 cup tomatoes per serving. So there's my 1/2 cup of that. I am going to save these tomatoes for the Italian version. All right, so there's my 1/2 cup of tomatoes for this bowl. And then I am going to go ahead and I'm going to quarter this cucumber so that I have nice little bite-sized pieces. See how much of this we're going to need to get that up. You can also weigh your veggies out, which I actually do recommend if you're following OPTAVIA to weigh them out. You're going to get a more accurate reading on your veggie consumption because as you can see here, there's a lot of air in there, but that was pretty spot on. Look at that. All right. So next up is going to be our bell pepper. This is a giant bell pepper, so we'll see. But we happen to love bell peppers here in our family. So especially my daughter, she actually likes them raw. She won't eat cooked peppers, which I find interesting, but she loves raw bell peppers. Whatever I don't use, she will definitely eat as a snack later. All right, so I need a little bit more, but I just love the colors and the flavors that are in. All right, so that is about a half a cup of bell pepper. Okay, so now we have all of our veggies here for our cottage cheese bowl. And then I have avocado. So we want the avocado in this case, and this avocado has been in the fridge for a little bit, but it's fine by me. We need the avocado as a healthy fat because we are using 1% cottage cheese here. That is what's considered a leanest lean, and so we need healthy fat. So I just kind of dice that up. I'm gonna leave that there for right now, and we're going to get our cottage cheese. All right, so we're gonna add 1.5 cups of cottage cheese. That makes a full serving of protein. And again, I'll just remind you that if you can't have the cottage cheese because of the sodium level, then non-fat Greek yogurt is a great alternative. Let's get the rest of this 1/2 cup going. That's about 1/2 cup right there. And that in. All right, so again, all of these cottage cheese bowls start with a base of 1.5 cups of the cottage cheese. And now we're just going to add in our beautiful veggies here right on top. I am not a food artist, y'all, but if you wanted to make this super pretty, you could definitely section them out so that it's, oranges here and tomatoes here and cucumbers here. It's just not my jam right now, but you can see this is going to make a really filling meal. So we've got our cottage cheese, we have our veggies. Now that I've diced up my cucumber, I'm going to just kind of squeeze the avocado until all of those little pieces are out, and encourage the ones that don't want to come. All right, that looks clean, pretty clean to me. And then we're going to sprinkle a little bit of lime juice on top, about a teaspoon. And I love cilantro. This can obviously be optional for you if you are not a cilantro fan. Totally get it. But I'm just going to take my kitchen scissors and give the cilantro a little bit of a haircut, basically. About a teaspoon's worth of fresh cilantro there. And then that's it. That is the Mexican-inspired cottage cheese bowl. So let's talk about the Italian one. All right, so for the Italian one, we're going to use those leftover diced tomatoes. I don't have quite enough, so I am going to dice up a few more. I will tell you that each one of these bowls has tomatoes and cucumbers in them, but honestly, you can use whatever veggies you want to use or have on hand or need to use up. I would recommend that you actually like to eat them raw. I just noticed that I have a zucchini in the refrigerator that I need to use up, and I thought, oh, that could be interesting in a cottage cheese bowl, but then I realized I don't really like raw zucchini, so that's probably not something I would actually want to put in my cottage cheese bowl. But if you do like raw zucchini, that would be a great option. Okay, so that's going to be my 1/2 cup of tomatoes right there. I'm going to quarter up some more of this cucumber here, just like I did before. Measure that out. And again, I love that it's getting to be, warmer weather, sort of. It was quite chilly here today, but warmer weather, springtime. Like, I cannot wait to get out in my garden and get it really going. I've got all of this, this would make a really great springtime, summertime kind of meal. All right, so there are my cucumbers. And for the Italian one, I thought, we could just use tomatoes and cucumbers, but to make it a little bit more interesting, I have some spinach here. So, and if you don't care for spinach or you can't eat spinach, like if you might have gout, we're going to pack these spinach leaves in this half cup. And then I am actually going to use my salad scissors, pack this in here just to make sure that you are getting enough. If you are on OPTAVIA, you'll know that this is half a green instead of a full green. But all right, so there is we're going to call that a half a cup of spinach. Now, I do have salad scissors to make this really easy to chop up. So I'm going to actually throw this in my bowl for my container. I'm going to make this and then save this later, but I'm going to snip up the spinach just so that it is in more manageable pieces that can be really mixed up into that cottage cheese. And so these are great. This happens to be Pampered Chef that one of my cousins sent me. So I appreciate that very much. It makes, you can see it's kind of going everywhere, but it's fun. All right, so I think that's pretty much. You can also use regular kitchen scissors for this. You don't have to have the salad scissors. I just find it's faster this way. Okay, so there is our chopped spinach. And I am going to pour this out as much of it as I can just to make sure that I can get the cottage cheese in there. Okay, so here's our cucumbers, spinach, tomatoes. And then for that Italian flavor, I've got basil, which I'm going to pick these leaves off and do the exact same thing. Maybe, you know what, I'm just going to pick some of these leaves off because I only need a couple of tablespoons of the basil leaves. And again, I cannot wait to have fresh basil in my garden again. I've got purple basil coming and green basil, and I love the purple basil because it has any purple or blue food has really good brain boosting properties in it. So, all right, let's get to making this bowl. So again, 1.5 cups of cottage cheese, and I'm going to try to scoot this forward so you can see what I'm doing, but measuring out 1.5 cups of cottage cheese here. I'm going to run out of cottage cheese before we get through all of this, and that's okay. All right, that's my 1/2 cup, and I am putting this in a storage container. This will be my lunch tomorrow. So again, this doesn't have to be pretty unless you really, really want it to be pretty. We're just going to add in all of our veggies. I did eat that Mexican one that we made earlier for my lunch today, and it was fabulous. So, all right, get the rest of this into. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I am just going to rough chop this little bit of basil here. And obviously, if you want to use more basil, I would totally be okay with that. I love basil. It is one of my favorite herbs to cook with. And all right, so there's our basil. We're going to add it right on top. Okay, so you can see now we've got so much green going on here, which is awesome. Green is wonderful for your heart health. So our healthy fat for this bowl is going to be our olive oil. So we're going to drizzle on 2 teaspoons of olive oil. And then for an extra little kick, I have some balsamic glaze. I love this balsamic glaze, and it really just needs about a teaspoon, but I'm just going to drizzle it on. How pretty does that look? All right, so I'm going to come back and we're going to make the final Greek bowl version. Okay, let's make the last one, which is our Greek-inspired cottage cheese bowl. So I am going to finish cutting up our big tomato here, and I know I don't have enough tomato to make the full half cup. So I grabbed some of my little grape tomatoes that I had sitting over on the side. And by the way, just in case you don't know this, you should never ever put your tomatoes in the refrigerator. It kills the nutritional value of them. It kills the nutrients and the flavor, frankly. So, all right, let's measure out what we have. I think maybe I have more than I need, actually, again. Yep, okay, no worries. I will eat that later. All good. All right, so back to our cucumber. And then get that going here. You can see how quickly these come together, how versatile they are, and how flavorful. You can make these for lunch at home or lunch to take to the office. Would also make a really good kind of picnic lunch situation. All right, so that's my half a cup of cucumbers. And then for the Greek spin on this one, I have some mild banana pepper rings. I love these things. If you like spicy, go ahead and get spicy one. I'm going to measure out half a cup of these, and then I am going to give them a rough chop just so that, again, they're easier to mix in with the cottage cheese bowl. So let's do that real fast. Those have a nice kind of rough chop to them. And there you go. There are our veggies for our Greek bowl. All right. So I am not going to be measuring out my cottage cheese for this one because I don't believe I have. Actually, I will, because sometimes I don't need a full protein. I have I have a cup. Okay, that's good to know. All right. Almost a cup of protein or cottage cheese, so that's good to know. Sometimes I have protein powder in the morning when I work out, and I don't actually need a full protein with my lunch. So, all right, here's our cottage cheese. Again, we're going to top the cottage cheese bowl with our veggies here, and not really necessarily trying to make this look super pretty, but it's kind of happening on its own. And there we go. All right, so there's that. Then for our healthy fat, all right, for the healthy fat, we're going to use Kama olives, right? Again, you're going to need about 8 to 10 of these. You can, let's see here, 2, 4, 6, 7. All right, I'm just going to finish off this jar. There we go. So that is our healthy fat for this cottage cheese bowl. And then I'm just going to give it a sprinkle of lemon juice for that lovely, vibrant flavor. And there you have it. That is your Greek-inspired cottage cheese bowl. All right, friends, I hope that you found inspiration in these 3 different styles of cottage cheese bowls to give you that really high protein packed, over 40 grams of protein each, low carb, good veggies, high fiber, and healthy fat meals for your grab and go lunches, quick, easy to prepare. They're amazing. So if you make one of them, comment below, let me know what you thought, or if you have other ideas on different styles of cottage cheese bowls that are also really great, let me know. I'm always looking for options. Be sure to grab a copy of the recipes in the link below, and until next time, thanks for watching.